Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, God. Look at that chest hair.
Yeah.
This isn't like where I'm from. Ooh.
What?
Picard can't even just stay on the Enterprise and be okay. He just gets infected with a virus.
Well, Josh, since starting TNG, we've been getting a lot of comments about our new format, which is we open up like this, talking about the episode or our thoughts going into the episode, or even about the episode, but before showing the reaction. And a lot of comments about it. I mean, what do you have to say?
When we started our channel, we had a pretty standard reaction intro. I think I'd say like, oh, we're watching this today. This is what else we're watching on the channel. Subscribe. Okay, let's watch the thing. But I just feel like when we were moving into TNG and since being in person fully and everything lately, I don't really feel like we're a reaction channel anymore. I don't know if you feel the same way, but like we're just a channel that watches Star Trek. So the format of what we do is changing. And I just feel like the reaction is always the core, right?
Mhm.
But I just don't see the value in like just a generic intro before the reaction.
Yeah, for me, like the reaction is kind of like a gateway drug into what we really wanted to do, which is like more of this style stuff. I mean, I love Star Trek reaction stuff. I hate that whole like having like the same intro, same outro every time, and I like the more cynical, like comedy style ending instead of, like, comment, subscribe, hit the, you know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
whole like cookie cutter. It's like I get it, like that stuff works like for YouTube, but I also, similar to our channel, I like the natural slow growth instead of just just falling into that that assembly line of like doing all the YouTube whatever YouTube wants, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, and there was a time, even when we were still watching Star Trek, the original series, where we just cut the intro completely and we just went straight into reaction because we just
Yeah.
didn't really see the value in the intro. So like the format is changing and morphing, but I think, two things to always just keep in mind is like one, the reaction has not changed. Like if you strip away everything else from the video, the reaction is still exactly the same as it's been, and in my opinion, better. Of course, I have a biased opinion of that, but and the second thing is, that's why we always use the time codes. And it's like, if you aren't interested in anything else we're doing in the video, if you're someone who just wants to come watch us watch Star Trek and then get out of here, like that's perfectly fine for you to do. Like the time codes are there for you to do that. But as we move forward, the format of our channel is just going to, evolve. I think everyone's YouTube channel should do that, or anything, any business that you have, or whatever, is just going to evolve as it goes on. So this whole intro thing we're doing right now, this is also evolving. Like we've only been doing this for 13 videos or whatever. So it's like we're figuring out what it is. And I can understand what some people are saying is it doesn't always make sense to come on here and just say exactly how we feel about the episode right at the beginning before we go into the reaction. But we're workshopping it. So we're doing different things and we're going to see what we like to do.
Yeah, I mean, you have to evolve your content. If everything's the exact same as it was in the beginning, it's like obviously keep the good stuff in there. There's some channels that just go like way out of left field, and it's like you need to go back to your roots. But like we're trying to find that middle ground, I think, of like evolving but not leaving like what works.
The reaction will always be there for these Star Trek videos. Not with everything we do, like obviously audience cut, there is no reaction on YouTube, that's just a discussion. But with our Star Trek videos, the reaction will always be that core, but we don't want to just leave it at that. Like we feel like we can offer more and we want to do more, but understanding that there are some people that don't want any of that, and that's totally fine. That's why those time codes are there. So
Yeah.
literally, they wouldn't be there if you shouldn't use them. Like we would take them away if we didn't find a purpose in them.
Yeah,
so.
true. Wow, people are probably getting really pissed. Just watch the episode.
Yeah.
Why are you talking about all this now?
Yeah, you could have skipped this whole discussion by using the time codes.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, today's episode is Angel 1, which I don't know if I have a lot to say about, so that's why we went on this whole discussion.
I got a lot to say about Riker's chest, that's for sure.
Riker's chest, yeah. Well, we'll throw it over to the reaction, and then we'll join you guys on the other side for our full thoughts on the episode, as well as our patrons' takes and thoughts as well. So we'll see you then.
Our examination of the 7-year overdue Federation freighter Odin, disabled by an asteroid collision, revealed no life signs.
He said 7-year, so maybe they upped it to 7 years, and they just happen to have 7 seasons, but I don't know.
Angel 1 is a Class M planet, sir. It is similar in technological development to mid-20th century Earth.
Here we go.
To travel the distance we did in 2 days at Warp 1 would have taken the Odin
Oh,
escape
she's
pod
back.
5 months.
I like how there was just no mention of her last episode. Like, they didn't drop her off or anything. They're just like, don't worry about it.
It's like we don't need to explain it every time.
And headed by a female they refer to as the Elected One.
It sounds like my own planet.
Klingons appreciate strong women.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Worf.
As this is a female-dominated society, you might wish to make the initial contact.
Thank you, sir.
How do I get to this planet?
We feel in no way neglected, Counselor. A diplomatic courtesy call is neither expected nor required. A brief visit will be tolerated.
They've broken off transmission.
Ever feel like you're not really wanted?
I mean, you gotta think, like, maybe some of these planets are in the Federation, but I don't need you to fucking visit all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. It's like, hey, what's going on? It's like...
Yeah, it's like a solicitor.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, yeah, okay, you can come down.
Where are you fellas off to?
Our ski instructor has us scheduled for the Danubian Alps, sir.
I'll save us some deep powder.
No problem, sir. The holodecks have all you'd ever need.
Whoa! Riker's hip with the skiing lingo.
Yeah.
Save me some powder, bro.
Hopefully that's them writing Wesley out of the episode.
I think so.
Angel One's strategic importance in this quadrant may become vital. Starfleet's hope is that one day this world may become part of the Federation.
Oh, so they're not in the Federation yet.
Captain's log supplemental. Our away team has beamed down to an unusual matriarchal society.
Are there survivors from the freighter Odin on your planet?
I'm not prepared to answer. Yet. See to their comforts.
So there clearly is.
So yeah, so that's a yes.
What's going on?
You could have easily said no, and they leave, and that's it.
Like, I like a Riker asks her what's going on, like to read them.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing. She doesn't say anything. Maybe she's
Well,
waiting.
well,
Maybe she's waiting.
He doesn't want to reveal right in front of him, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, they're lying.
Is this area secure? Can we talk?
Yes. Tricorder doesn't show any listening devices or anything else of a threatening nature.
That's good. I like that a lot.
Undoubtedly, there are survivors from the Odin on this planet.
I agree. Otherwise, why would they be so circumspect?
I've never heard that word.
Yeah, I'm like, okay.
Circumspect. Gotta Google that one.
I want all departments to prepare for a Warp 6 trip into the neutral zone as soon as the away team completes its mission.
Trouble, Captain.
Neutral zone.
Romulan battle cruisers.
Ooh! What?
They've requested our assistance as soon as...
Oh, damn it. Shove him back in.
What does that smell?
Yes, slightly reminiscent of night blooming Throgni, Captain. Quite stimulating, wouldn't you say?
No.
We don't understand the source of your misgivings, Mistress, but we appreciate your faith in us.
Make certain that faith is not misplaced.
What is this lady's problem?
We might be able to find these men. I assumed as much. But be warned, Counselor, these men are dangerous.
You think they just wanted equal rights as, like, the women on that planet? They're like, nope. And they're like, well, we're out of here.
Or they could have gone even further with it, like, this isn't like where I'm from.
Wesley and one of his friends have contracted some form of respiratory ailment.
A respiratory ailment? Is it contained?
So Wesley and the other dude, they weren't in the holodeck. They were actually down somewhere. So why are they sick?
No, nighttime version.
Two different paintings. Very nice.
Oh yeah, and I just remember that they said this was like mid 20th century, so it's not even like futuristic, even though they have some futuristic stuff.
Yeah.
This is quite unnecessary, Doctor. I'm fine.
You're infected with the virus, Captain.
Picard can't even just stay on the Enterprise and be okay. He just gets infected with a virus.
I have an appointment with several Romulan battle crews.
You have an appointment in your cabin, Captain, with your bed.
No Romulans today, looks like.
Pretty close to him there. Aren't you worried about getting sick?
Lieutenant LaForge, you have command until further notice.
Woo!
Captain Jordy. Oh, I like that. Not comfortable being in the chair.
A platinum trace. Should I notify the away team?
Make it so.
Yeah. And they just do a hard cut and they're in the middle of a battle. Troy, what did you do? Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, God. Look at that chest hair.
Yeah.
I gotta say, it's kind of sexy.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Actually, it feels quite comfortable.
I love how deadpan he is.
3 to beam to the location of that platinum trace, Jordy.
Coordinates set.
Energize.
Ooh, locational location. That's always nice.
Always love that.
Extremely odd framing, but okay.
I've been expecting you.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Simple enough. I thought it was going to be some type of weird interaction.
Sorry. I'm getting sick.
I'm sure half the ship knows that by now. Report to sick bay, Lieutenant.
What is the purpose of this B storyline? Just everyone getting sick?
The computer won't accept the variant climate controls.
On my way.
With all respect, Lieutenant, there are people to do that job now.
Are there? It's just him.
Lieutenant Wong knows that system. I'm sure she'll be able to resolve all problems. Worf, thanks for the advice.
That's a good moment for Worf, like telling, hey, you know, you're the guy now. There's other people to do that.
Yeah, like I'm glad they're getting their scenes for sure.
7 years on an alien planet. And I sense no anticipation, no excitement of being rescued.
What is it that you think that you're rescuing me from? My shipmates and I have all taken wives. A few even have children.
What?
You can't rescue a man from a place that he calls his home.
Never thought of that. Okay.
You attract me like no man ever has.
It's not my function to seduce or be seduced by the leader of another world.
And I may or may not be in a relationship with,
It's unclear.
But will you still respect me in the morning?
I hope so.
Hey, what's going on?
Good thing he walked in now and not in like 5 minutes.
Yeah. You could put a lock on the door?
Yeah, I know. Like, Riker reminded me more and more of Kirk every episode.
Riker's getting laid and Picard's just in his bed sick. Oh.
You can't force us to go.
Mr. Ramsey is correct, Counselor. The Odin was not a starship. Which means her crew is not bound by the Prime Directive. If he and the others wish to stay here, there is absolutely nothing we can do about it.
So now there's a version of the Prime Directive that involves ships and crew and whether they have to stay or not. I gotta get a printout of this thing. There's probably one online.
I'm sure you can look it up, but there would just be spoilers.
Spoilers all over
for
the
no
place.
reason.
We wish you well, Mr. Ramsey.
They're gone.
Oh! Nice twist.
Oh.
And I bet, what's her name, Beta? I bet she doesn't know about her relationship.
What is so important you find it necessary to intrude upon my privacy?
They have returned, mistress, but without Ramsey or the others.
They'll just walk in on him.
Since you refuse to take them with you, I am left with no choice but to sentence them all to death.
I mean, weren't they already fugitives? And the guy said they were packing, so they're probably on the run anyway.
Yeah, but they weren't sentenced to death before, but now it's...
Just been escalated from imprisonment to death.
Yeah.
Oh, God, shirtless Picard.
Woo! Both our main guys shirtless this episode.
It looks horrible. Tastes worse. But it's absolutely guaranteed to make you feel better.
What is that, coffee? Pure black coffee. Cures everything.
And once inside the body, becomes that damn virus. I have work to do.
At least she gave him that drink.
You are excused, Doctor.
Before you go back to your ship, there's something I want you to see.
Oh, well.
Oh, boy.
Why did you tell them where to find us?
You brought this upon yourself, you and the traitor. One does not need the technology of the Enterprise to follow Mistress Ariel sneaking out to warn her husband. Let her stand with him now, for tomorrow they will die together.
Yeah, that's a nice way to raise the stakes a little bit. Now, do I care about these survival people? No, but, you know, that's all right.
If you had an alternative to the execution of Ramsey and his followers, would you take it?
Is that not the way of an advanced society?
Then let us meet with the men from Odin one last time. Let me try to convince them to leave here with us.
Will you also include those from this world who unwisely choose to follow Ramsey and his group?
Yes, all of them.
Well, if they're subject to be executed, I think they'll probably say yes.
Yeah, I know.
No, I'll stay.
This is still my home. You're gonna die.
You're gonna die.
We're prepared to take your entire group with us.
That's very kind of you.
I swear to God. I swear to God.
But we're not going.
You're scheduled to be executed tomorrow.
We don't want to die. We don't want to leave either.
I'd rather face a court-martial than live with the guilt of leaving these people to their death.
Nice. That's a total Kirk move. He's probably said something similar. Riker's saying all this captain-like stuff, and Picard's just in bed. Our captain.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, it was sabotage. I don't know how he made it.
Like, they were really wanting to get Picard out of there, it seems.
Would this virus have any effect on Mr. Data?
Not likely.
You're going back there alone. I want you to get the Enterprise into the neutral zone before it's too late.
Captain Data.
And I like that it's like, it makes sense, like, you know, use for him, because he wouldn't be affected.
Yeah. Would have made a lot more sense if he wasn't affected by the Naked Now.
The Naked Now virus, yeah. I just like to pretend that episode doesn't exist.
Probably not a bad idea.
That leaves Dr. Crusher 48 minutes to develop an inoculant to the virus.
48 minutes exactly, Data? Not 48 minutes, 32 seconds.
Yeah.
As you can see, we are not without compassion. Your deaths will be swift and painless.
Oh, was that like a demonstration?
Yeah, I guess, just to show the audience.
As the governing body of Angel One, you're entitled to execute your laws, or your citizens as you see fit.
Oh, they're doing a filibuster.
Yep.
No power in the universe can hope to stop the force of evolution. Be warned. The execution of Mr. Ramsey and his followers may elevate them to the status of martyrs. Martyrs cannot be silenced.
Going through with it anyway.
And they're making the man do it. Oh, boy. Come on, Trent.
Piana! Stop.
I'll do it.
I'll do it myself.
Fine.
We will adjourn to consider your words.
I'll get out of there, dude, just in case.
Bingo, Data.
Bingo?
What's that?
I failed to see the relevance, Doctor. Is that not a reference to an ancient Earth game?
It's also a reference to success, Data. I've got the inoculant.
Excellent, Doctor.
The episode hit the 40-minute mark, so now I was able to find the cure. Every Star Trek episode ever.
Did you see how I figured this out?
Nope, doesn't matter.
Ramsey and the prisoners are with us in the Great Hall. I want you to lock in the transporter. Prepare to evacuate the entire group. But for now, stand by.
Like, I get that, like, A and B storylines, like, help move things a bit on faster and maybe create some urgency in other areas, but it's like, sometimes it just dilutes everything. And it just, like, muddies it.
After careful consideration, this legislature has voted to stay the execution of the prisoners. Their children will be returned to them immediately. Ramsey and his followers are to be exiled to a distant and unpopulated region. Life will be difficult there.
Riker to Enterprise. Relay my previous order, Mr. Data. There will now be only 3 to beam up.
It's like, okay, I guess that's a fine compromise.
Are they recovering?
Slowly, but yes.
And the captain?
The captain is fine, thank you.
You could keep beating Picard down.
Coordinates set. Warp 6 on your mark, sir.
Come on.
Sir?
Engage.
Like, even then, that ending scene, like, oh, I can't do it.
I'm too old and frail.
You do it, Captain Rick. I mean, number 1. Oh, wasn't that great? And you know what? You can tell us how great by dropping a like below. Is that it? Are we good? Yeah, sick Picard. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like there were some good moments with him in the episode prior to this, and then with this one, you know, just gets sick. I mean, great stuff with Riker. I think he's, you know, great prime directive stuff, or just whether you do this or not, they're martyrs. Evolution is going to keep going. So it's like, don't kill these people. And like a great, you know, something that a captain would say. But our captain is just bedridden, and it's like they're really pushing that narrative. It's like, I don't know if Picard's the guy. Riker's got this full head of hair. Picard's old. He's balding. It's just so weird.
Yeah, I said in our reaction to the previous episode, Data Lore, that I liked how Riker steps up as kind of a captain when they're on this away team and he's telling people what to do when Picard's not there. But boy, like, does this episode take that to the extreme? Like, Riker is essentially the captain this episode, and Picard is just out with this sickness. And while there's some things about that B storyline with the sickness that I did enjoy that we'll get into, the Picard portion was not one of them. It seems like Patrick Stewart, I don't know, could he not be there? Like, he just was sidelined for this whole episode, and people have said in the comments that, they were worried about Picard because he's so different from Kirk, so they have Riker as this Kirk type. But it's like, man, could you do anything else to make your captain look weaker? You'd think you'd want to put him on strong footing because you're trying to make this change at captain. Riker is essentially Kirk in this episode. This is like the first time, we've joked about it, but like this is like the first episode. I feel like you could just supplant Kirk into this episode.
Oh yeah.
And you wouldn't tell the difference.
Be the same thing with his ending monologue with his escapades with this woman. It's like, I could totally picture William Shatner doing this.
Literally a speech. A Kirk speech.
Yes, a Kirk speech at the end, yeah.
You may eliminate the symbols, but that does not mean death to the issues which those symbols represent.
And I understand not every speech is a Kirk speech by default, but no, this was a Kirk speech.
This was a Kirk speech, yeah. You said, oh, Riker's the captain. Well, technically, like, everyone's the captain this episode because everyone gets sick. Geordi becomes captain, and then Data becomes, not actual captain, but like
acting captain.
Yeah, to the point where it's just Data on the bridge alone with this like a kind of funny shot. And once again, I hope this just erases the Naked Now canon continuity because that affected Data in that episode, but they make the mention, can't affect Data in this one.
Yeah, that whole thing. I really like, though, that was the thing about the sickness storyline that I liked was Geordi getting that moment of getting to sit in the captain's chair. Obviously, like, inexperienced with it, even saying Picard's lines, because he doesn't have, obviously, his own personality as a captain. But loved seeing that, and then the moment was with him and Worf there, too.
Worf? Thanks for the advice.
That was like the only part of the sickness storyline that I actually found positives out of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like previous episode, Worf just gets beat up by Lore, but with this one we get a good, love all the interpersonal crew stuff. It's like Geordi, we have people for that. Like, it's all right, tell someone else to do it. And I get this nice little scene where like Geordi sits in the chair, like uncomfortable, like almost like he's never, been in that line of succession yet. Because Riker's down on the planet, Picard's sick. It's like, oh shit, I'm next. It's like, whoa. So little stuff like that, and also just like I like the fun human stuff with Riker, Troy, and Tasha down there, where they're laughing at him, and he's like, well, what? I've worn feathers, I've worn this, and like little lore building where it's like, oh yeah, I've always accustomed to other planets. I feel like they've always been very good with that, with accommodating to that culture. And also like I got some vibes of like some like Asian culture when they were like kneeling, and similar to like the outfits they were wearing, like reminded me very much of Asian culture. I'm like, oh, okay, that's neat.
Got to give credit to Jonathan Frakes. Clearly he's all in. He'll do whatever they tell him to do, and that shouldn't be a surprise for like actors. Like, that's your job, do what they tell you to do. But I feel like a lot of actors won't. It's great to see him kind of just kind of put himself out there in whatever they've done through this first half of the first season so far.
Mm-hmm.
I've just enjoyed Jonathan Frakes. Really seemed like he's committed to the show, regardless of what maybe people say now. Maybe they all thought it was getting canceled, they didn't care, whatever. But it seems like he's at least having a good time with it and, taking it seriously to an extent. So that's really nice to see. What did you think about the whole culture of these basically swapping the roles of early 20th century and, all of history up until the last few years on Earth, swapping the men's traditional roles with the women's on this planet?
I'm glad they didn't like do it over the top. They weren't catcalling the men. They weren't, like beating them or anything. It was very subtle. Like the only guy we really see is Trent, and like later on in the episode, like a couple more in similar outfits. But we don't see anything like. I'm glad they didn't overdo it. It's just like a quirk of the planet to make it interesting. It wasn't. It wasn't the whole plot, because I got worried. Oh, it's like middle 20th century, and like I think we were both like,
yeah,
here we go. You know what I mean? It's like we're going back to that time, and they're gonna point our finger at us. Humanity today.
You all suck.
Yeah, you all suck.
Yeah, I did like how the subtlety of it Some people might think it was on the nose, and okay, yes, some of the lines and stuff are on the nose.
We don't consider even one survivor petty.
Is this man implying that we put a lesser value on life than you do?
Women had to deal with all that stuff for years, and still do to an extent. It just sounds different when it's swapped, so it naturally is going to sound more on the nose when they do it. But I am glad they had that restraint as well to not go over the top with it. I thought it was well done. The actress who plays Beata, it was fine. There were times where I'm like, eh, and there were times where it was good. That's where I just don't really have much to say about the episode. Like the whole plot down on that planet, Angel One, with Beata, with the survivors not wanting to go home, I just didn't really care. I'm like, do I care about any of these characters? No.
Especially with like, oh, you're gonna be executed. We have to go. No.
Yeah. He's like, we have wives and families here. We will take all of your families. That's so nice of you. No.
Yeah. It even does a dramatic turn away. No.
It's like, oh, okay.
It's like, of course.
Great line from Riker, though, there, when he's like, I'd rather face a court-martial than let these people die.
Which is a Kirkism, if I have to say. Definitely something he would do. I did like the twist of the one woman being one of the guy's wives. I'm like, ooh, that's interesting. And them wanting to, like, there's some, like, people, like, probably similar, well, obviously, like, where, like, they want it to change. Like, men don't want to be in this position anymore. And maybe some women don't want men in that position anymore, similar to how it probably was in real life, where we don't want women lower in power and they don't want men lower in power.
There was definitely good stuff in here, stuff I enjoyed. But overall, I just found myself kind of being bored by the end and not caring that much. And what's up with all the sexual stuff, dude? It's like, in TOS, when Kirk would hook up with somebody, they have like one nice romantic scene, fade away, move on. They clearly had sex. Let's move on with the episode. They dragged out this sex scene with. Did they even have sex? I don't think so. Like, I think they just like casually make out for like 4 scenes. It's like, okay, can we move on?
Roddenberry, you sex pervert, you.
Yeah, it's like, dude was off the rails.
He's like, screw it, I'm going all out with this.
It's like the less you show, the better. You know what I mean? It's like tease it. You can have the chemistry scenes. They have them kiss, and then it's like, then move on. We get it, but like it just felt a little bit too much to me. And then on top of everything we've seen sexually in the show, it's like, ugh.
And also no like repercussions with Troy or anything. Are they dropping that? It's like
for now, I guess. All right, we're going to jump into our patron takes. This is where our patrons let us know what they think about the episode, as well as predict how we're going to feel about it, and have any questions for us about the episode as well. We don't read these until right now, after we watch the episode and fully discuss it. So let's dive in.
From Dion James Pittman, another season 1 groaner after a couple of good episodes in a row. I guess it was nice the Romulans were mentioned. I wanted to read this one because also they teased the Romulans and then like, oh, we finally get to see TNG Romulans. Nope.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that. That's how forgettable it was.
Yeah, it's like I got excited, but nope, Picard was sick.
My only hope is that the reason for saying Romulans and the neutral zone instead of just making up another TNG villain is that they're coming. That's my hope. Because why else would they bring them up if they had no intention?
True, they could have said Ferengi and something else. You know what I mean? Like, because TOS would often mention Klingons or Romulans because they were like established, but like to mention like a TOS established species, like it's gonna get people excited.
Yeah. Here's one from Elizabeth Newlands. I only have one comment to make on this episode. Riker's chest hair. Agreed, Elizabeth. Agreed.
That's all I could focus on. This one's from Dan Krantz. Not exactly the worst episode of the season, but close. I wonder where they found that male outfit for Riker to wear. He's like 6 feet tall, and it looks like most of the men on that planet are about 4'2". And then below that, a comment from Stuart Arbery. Hot topic.
Yeah, that's true. I did notice this. I'm like, damn, Riker is huge. But then I'm like, oh, wait, it's because everyone else here is oddly small.
Yeah.
I get it for the flipping of the gender roles. It makes sense. I think they even said, like, oh, well, the women are bigger and stronger. It makes sense for the roles to be switched on this planet.
Yeah,
so
it's probably why they didn't have too many men, maybe, because, like, that Trent dude is pretty short.
This one's from JD. I really love that they allowed that simple, quiet shot where Geordi takes command for the first time. You can see how proud and accomplished he feels. It's yet another wonderful character scene. 100% agree. I think it's like the only good thing that came out of the whole illness storyline. I really like that.
Yeah, like we said, there's sprinkles of good stuff in all of them. Okay, this one's from Joe Concepts. I always liked how Riker tried to act completely not embarrassed by having to wear that outfit. Personally, I think it's some of the earliest hints of Riker starting to lighten up a bit on the show. There there were also signs of that when he's amused by Picard's encounter on the holodeck, and also when he seems to be the only person who seems entertained by Troy's mother.
Yeah, look, Jonathan Frakes is great.
We've known Jonathan Frakes for years, not personally.
Personally,
but
it feels personal.
Yeah, but he's been in our lives for a while, even before the resurgence of all the memes.
Yeah,
like we were fans before that.
It's almost like getting to watch a fictional character in a movie, and then they make a prequel, but it's like, oh, they can't cast the same actor because he has to be younger. We got to cast someone else. Except in this scenario, it's not a fictional character; it's a real person, Jonathan Frakes, and we get to see him before Beyond Belief in this show, and it's great.
Yeah, it's like it's lore building for Jonathan Frakes.
For a real life person.
For a real life person.
That's called a biography. Riker, have you seen La La Land, Whiplash?
Maybe it's my music.
Yeah, well, about that, don't give up your day job.